Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Son of Saul, and this movie came out in 2015, and I always heard this movie was good, and it's a Holocaust movie, and I was kind of curious to check it out, and I can't even pronounce the director's name, and I'm not going to bother, but I don't think I've seen any of their movies before, and I decided to check it out because I heard it was good, and I thought this movie was great. I really enjoyed the directions this movie took. I think this movie is very well shot. It gives you a very claustrophobic feeling because not only is it shot with a 4:3 aspect ratio, I believe, but also there's lots of close shots and you don't really see too much else outside of what you're seeing me of, like the main character, like if I'm the main character of the movie. This is pretty much all you would see, or at least the most of what you would see of a character. And this movie does capture like the horrors of being in the Holocaust pretty well. Like there's some parts that are genuinely disturbing. I thought it was very well handled. It never came across as goofy to me, and it's all about the visual experience in this film. And there's dialogue in this movie, but I don't feel as though the dialogue is super important to the movie, simply because I don't feel as though that's what the movie is about. It's more about the experience than anything else. And that kind of leads me to my one issue with this movie is that I did feel as though there were some parts of the movie that didn't need to be there, but I feel as though it's more forgivable because it's just dialogue that I missed out on. And because the dialogue isn't super important to the story, like you can understand what's going on just by paying attention to the visuals and just figuring out what's going on there and just knowing like the concept of the movie. You'll have a good understanding of what's going on story-wise, but I feel as though there are just a couple of dull parts, but it doesn't drag the movie down too much, is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't ruin the experience that some dialogue scenes were kind of boring. I also loved that this movie had no score. It's just pretty much all about the visuals and the sound and just like the horrors of being in this time period and like being surrounded by people who will kill you at any moment. That's really what kept me going throughout the film. And this movie is not a fast-paced movie. It does take its time. It allows you to soak everything in, and I never once found it to be boring for the most part. When it came to just like the visual experience. When it came to dialogue, not super compelling, but I already discussed that. And also I thought the acting was pretty great from what I could tell, obviously, with the language barrier. And this movie also does feel very authentic to the time period it's set in, with the way characters behave in this movie and also how they talk to one another. It just felt like characters from that era, and it didn't feel like modern day people. It actually felt like a period piece, and they were set in a certain period in time, 1944. And I like that a lot about the movie. And I also did appreciate that this movie wasn't just about what happened during the Holocaust. It's not like a documentary approach. It's not like something along the lines of Schindler's List or The Pianist, where it's just about one person or just like someone's experience, more or less, in trying to highlight what they went through. It does tell its own story. It more or less feels like it's using the Holocaust as a vehicle to tell a story, instead of just having something closer to like a documentary almost. Because World War II movies, I feel like they're pretty overdone in a sense, and you really have to do something to really make your movie stand out. And I feel as though they did a great job with this movie in particular. And it's not overly bloody or violent. Most of the violence is sort of off-screen or implied, which kind of makes it more terrifying because it makes you imagine all these horrible things happening to these different people. And as a result, it's much more effective for me. And by the end of the movie, I didn't really have many issues with it. I was just like, yeah, this was a great experience, and I can come back to this movie despite it being kind of dark and disturbing. But I really love the experience because of what it was going for. I liked what this movie is selling me. Once we got to the end credits, I did like the music there. I like the credits music. I thought it was not standard, sad music or whatnot. I thought it communicating like certain emotions. That's how I feel about it. And don't go into this movie just expecting it to be a Holocaust movie, even though that's pretty much what it is in layman's terms. It's just a Holocaust movie. I feel as though the experience offers more than just that. It kind of reminds me of Dunkirk to a certain extent, where it's not really about the dialogue, it's more or less about the experience. So check this movie out whenever you get the chance. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Son of Saul a 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Son of Saul, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for First Reformed. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.